Welcome, everybody, to another episode of MCR. Today, what we're going to be talking about is preparing for conferences and what you need to know because next week we are going to be at Unbound. I'm super excited to see all of you in person. And fortunately enough, I got sick right before. So I will not hopefully be sick after returning back since everything is happening when we're traveling, right? There's especially during this time of year. This time of year, I was looking at the charts because I was like, well, what sickness is going around in Arizona right now? There's always huge spikes in December, like November, December area, this time of year because people travel more, right? But anyways, today I am joined by Matt Lynn, who is one of our most renowned known directors here at ATG. Matt, thanks for joining today. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for joining. We were just talking a little bit earlier about Alien and movie series, but what we're here to talk about today is conferences. And then we're going to also talk about a little bit of some of our LMS systems and how we can engage in learning as well. But first and foremost, we're here. We're going to be talking about conferences. We're going to be talking about tips. What are we supposed to do? We're going to Unbound. And then the following week, so next week, there won't be an MCR because hopefully you're going to Unbound. You're going to see me in person. You're going to get some cool swag. We're going to have a lot of conversations about where the product is going. And then the following week, Matt will join me back and we'll talk and show some of the new features in Bluebeam. There's a caveat there because you're all probably going to be in the same realm as well because they're going to, well, I don't want to spoil it too much because then I can't talk about it yet until Unbound. So we'll cover everything when we come back from Unbound. I'm going to show Matt some cool stuff, things that were released, and we'll dive in and answer any questions you all have as well. And then following that, just so you're all aware, and there'll be an announcement on this, I will be on sabbatical. So here at ATG, we are fortunate enough to have a sabbatical program. So that means if you've been here for more than 6 years, at your 6-year mark, you actually get a full month paid leave. Pretty unbelievable. Matt, you just were on yours, weren't you?
I did. Yeah. I took all of it was June off. It was amazing. It's a
What's it
complete
like?
it's a complete unplug. So we were just talking. I've been working how to turn my brain off at night because like anyone who's passionate about their work, it's the hardest thing to do at night and go to bed. Um, and with a sabbatical, it's a chance to truly do that. And it's not week one. It's somewhere in the middle of week two, I think. It's kind of where it hit me. I was fortunate to go on a cruise for the first week. So actually, that was kind of the jump start in turning my brain away from work. Um, but then after that, your brain starts to develop. How do I say? So, your brain gets filled up with stuff. And when you're at work, it's typically work. And my thought on sabbatical was like, hey, once I get sabbatical, my brain's just gonna empty out. Well, that's not the case. It just fills up with other stuff. So
I
that's all.
remember because you were super worried. You're like, well, what am I gonna do
Right.
with
I
my
thought I would be
time?
bored. Yeah, you're anything but bored. I was still trying to get it all in, like I'm gonna work out every day and then I'm gonna do this every day. And it's like, and even then I was like, man, I'm overdoing it.
So
So
you were able to fill up the whole month, no worries whatsoever.
easily, yeah. I could have kept going. Now, I mean, it makes me less afraid of retirement now.
Really, because that's one of the conversations you've had before of, you know, after work, right? Retirement, what does that look like? I think the fear is we're also used to the weekly work schedule. Are we going to be able to turn that off? And it sounds like you can.
Your brain will fill itself up. Yep.
That's wild. Well, I'm
Yep.
excited to enjoy that as well. We do get shut off, right? We can't access anything. I can't just sneak on for one
Actually,
day.
no. It is in. So I took email off my phone and I took Teams off my phone, and I believe you don't have it on your phone, anyways, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So I just didn't open my computer. Like I just kept it off. So
So you
it's
don't
kind
know
of
if you were not able to get on or not, right?
I actually could because I did one time. I was requested to join a meeting, which I did.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I just chose not to. Taking it off my phone is the big thing. I'm the type of person I if I open my phone and it's got the little banners and the flags and it's got the number on the email, it says like email 5. I have to go at least click on them, even if I know they're spam, just so that 5 goes down to 0. You
Oh, we're the same. We're the same because I can't have like any notifications. So that's
Right.
like Doug was saying, email and Teams off the phone. Yeah, I turned mine off a while ago. Um, Matt still has his on and he took it off, obviously, but basically I haven't had mine on and it definitely allows for a work-life balance. People here at A2G have my personal cell phone number, but that's more for emergencies. So there is a way to contact me, but the non-notifications at any work time, because that used to be me, Matt. I'd wake up, I'd be in bed, getting ready to get up for the day. First thing I did, check Teams,
Yeah,
right?
especially for you because you're a couple hours behind most people. Like,
Exactly.
yeah. So you're already behind as soon as you wake up.
Yep. And I always felt behind. I'd always click it because I'm like, I know I'm going to have at least 5 or 6 messages. I had a couple when I even started today. And that's why I got in a little bit early because I wanted to check and typically always check my emails and notifications and get basically down a wormhole of I need to be up to date. I need to make sure I'm on top of everything as well. So I always had to delete the apps because it's just always happening. Yeah, on your watch too. I know the great thing about your app, like I have an Apple Watch. The great thing about the watches is it is convenient, but that even makes you more aware of notifications, and you're always just having to go through and do that. So, anyways, with
That's
that
a good
being,
note. I don't have a watch and I have no intent to get one. I don't need another thing bogging me down.
oh, the notifications, the buzzing, it's the typical like nagging on your wrist. Like you'll feel it
Yeah.
vibrate, and it's just like, oh, I need to address something. There's a notification or something. So, yeah, it's great, right? There's a place for it, but for me, when I got rid of them on my phone, I truly embraced a work-life balance. There was there's I think there was a moment in time where I realized this. I was going on an anniversary trip with Court. That's my wife. Sorry, I feel like I'm just having a straight conversation with just Matt. Um, I was going on a trip, and I just have a bad habit of always making sure that I'm there for people and responsive. So I was going on an anniversary trip to Universal Studios out in California, and as we were there on our anniversary trip, I was checking, updating, responding, and I was like, "This is too much." I was out, and of course, you know, we preach that, Matt. You always preach that to me as well. It's like, hey, you're out, don't respond. But I'm more of like, oh no, I'm there, I'm there. And I just realized that I can't have Teams and email on my phone because it's too much of being there, and I want to be there for everyone and supportive. So I think there's for some people you can turn it off mentally and not respond, but for some other people, there's no way to bridge that gap of work-life balance. And fortunately, I was able to. We're not required to have it on ours, but basically, I was fortunate enough to now have that spread between a work-life balance. So some people can, some people can't turn that off. I can't turn it off. If it's not there, then I won't be able to access it. So for a future MCR show, you should use Procore Documents integration. Bob, I would love to, but I don't have Procore. I do know they have the integration between sessions. So I saw somebody's Procore because they were showing me workflows in the Procore during a demonstration. And basically, I mean, so Bob, if you wanted to come on, if you have Procore, that would be great. I mean, I'd be more than happy to have you on, host that integration. I just don't have access to Procore, unfortunately. I have a different face on the Pixel Watch, and I set my yeah. I have our no, our ATG link on my watch. Matt, you have it's the like QR code. You have it for your contact information, huh?
On
So
my phone?
yes, you have your
Uh,
QR code, don't you?
yeah, I have a couple. Uh, I was at a conference last week, and I put LinkedIn has a really nice thing where
Mm.
you just you click the search button in LinkedIn, and once you click on the search button, there's a little QR code, and you can just save it of your own picture and QR code. So that's something really cool for conferences because when I was out at parties, you're not going to have your badge, or sometimes you have your badge, but if it's like, hey, do you have your phone? I know you're on LinkedIn, just connect. And so I connected with a lot of people, and it's easy to remember to follow up with them because it's like the last 10 people I connected with. You know what I mean?
See, so that's a good segue. Going to conferences, no one hands out business cards anymore, right? Well, people do, but do you take
Some
them?
do, but very rare. Yeah.
Yes. So if someone hands me a business card when we're at conferences, I typically take a picture of it because I know I'm not going to keep that business card later on. We are definitely in a new era, and I like that, Matt. That was a great idea. LinkedIn, so that you can connect and then message via LinkedIn as well for an easier response.
Yeah, it's good.
So QR code, and you can just go to your like profile and click get a QR code.
Yep, yep. You hit the search on your phone, you hit the search button, and as soon as you hit the search button over on the side, you'll see a little QR button.
There you go.
And then
So
you just save it. It's done.
tip number one, don't hand out business cards. Download your QR code, and then you can snap it, and then you look at your recents, and then you can shoot a message. I like that.
It's good. Yeah, it's real
That
good.
that is a definitely a helpful tip. So what else for conferences? Let me go to my list here
Okay.
as I bring my list up.
As you bring yours up, I'll hit a couple that I just thought of.
Okay, yeah, you start.
By the way, last night I asked Michael, what are we going to talk about tomorrow? And he said, I don't know, but maybe I'll dream about something. So I guess he dreamt about conferences.
Yes.
So that's how we landed here. So earlier you're talking about sicknesses. So for those of you who do take flu shots on a regular basis, get that taken care of a week and a half, 2 weeks before your conference, because that's a chance to shake hands with hundreds of strangers that are traveling from international airports all over the world. So, if you do that, it's a good time to do that like a week or two before that conference, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good note. So if you are all attending a conference, there is sicknesses going around. I attended a festival last 2 weekends ago, and that's where I got sick. So again, like Matt was saying, thousands, hundreds of people, plus also a plane ride if you are traveling far and wide. There are sicknesses going around. I unfortunately got sick last Tuesday, and for some reason, I don't know if it's an age thing or something where it's this type of sickness, but basically I've been sick for 7 days now. So whatever's going around, take immunity, or like Matt was saying, if you do decide to go and get shots before, that's also great as well. I now have natural immunity, and hopefully I'll be 100%, not hopefully, I will be 100% better. Put that in the ether before we go to Unbound. I would never travel sick, so I'm not trying to get all you guys sick as well. Yeah, I could only imagine being in an airplane and having a head cold. Right now, I still have nasal congestion. It was so bad yesterday. Matt, how bad did I look yesterday?
You looked fine. You sounded bad. I could just tell, you had that like nasal sound. I totally agree with Doug. I have flown with the head cold, and it's the worst because you're trying to hide it because you don't want everyone around you to think. So you got like tons of Kleenexes, and you're just like, like incognito, like just trying to not sneeze and make it through. It's the worst.
Yeah, because it's always you don't want to get the eye from other people, right, as they're looking at you. Yeah. I just noticed this in Bluebeam Cloud. My documents is replacing my workspace. Move your files to my documents. Yeah, so it looks like they're just having a my documents space. So if you were using my workspace, just make sure you move your documents from my workspace to my documents. My workspace was for yourself to make markups. So the reason I'm assuming, this is an assumption, so just tinfoil hat here. Actually, I don't know if I can announce this or not. So I can't. Actually, dang it. Never mind. Sorry, Kenneth. There's a reason why that my workspace is going away. I just can't talk about it until it's released. So that's the line I'm going to ride there. But if you have things in my workspace, move them to my documents. But there is a reason behind it, Kenneth, and I'll explain that when it's released. And unfortunately, I can't right now. So sorry. Okay, so sickness, take immunity before. Make sure you guys are getting up all on your vitamin C. That is one of the best tips, I think, whenever you're traveling. Making sure you are healthy before you go, because there's going to be a ton of people and you are going to be shaking hands. You're going to be flying if you fly, and you may get sick. So changes are coming. Yes, there's going to be so much to talk about. Unfortunately, it's going to be have to packed into one day because I am going on sabbatical and you are all going with me. So again, make sure you tune into my LinkedIn or you go to the MCR group channel, because I will be showing you all a little snippets of at least part of my sabbatical, which is Japan. What else, Matt? You said you had a couple. Was that just the one?
Yeah, I jotted a couple down. So I was thinking of comfortable shoes. Conferences, for those of you who have the rings on your phone, at conferences I usually double, triple the rings, and that's not intentionally. That's just moving about the conference. So comfortable shoes, and they don't have to be tennis shoes. Michael knows I have these. They're essentially boots, but they're incredibly comfortable. Just something that you're going to walk miles and miles in. So that's another thing.
I know. The first AU we went together, I looked at your shoes and was like, "Those are comfortable?" Question mark, because they look like cowboy boots. So I was so confused.
Cowboy boot. Well, they aren't cowboy boots, but they kind of they're shorter version. They don't they're not the tall ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, the more you wear them, they're more comfortable than tennis shoes because your foot just forms to them. You know what I mean? Like if somewhere else to put them on, they wouldn't fit. It's like formed to your foot.
Yeah. You have to actually wear them.
Right.
Yes, comfortable shoes. So I am going to have comfortable shoes as well. I purchased some of these shoes off Amazon. I forget what they're called. If we have no, I don't think maybe I can. I'll try and post some, but just make sure you're wearing comfortable shoes. I experienced something similar to this when I was at Disneyland. I think it was about a year ago. It was a year ago. Last October, I think, is when we went. And didn't realize how much you walk in Disneyland, because it was my first time as an adult. And it was very painful because I had old shoes. I didn't realize shoes have a certain amount of mileage or steps. I think it's mileage that you can put on them. So yes, it is dress casual, work casual. So work casual is the business casual is the dress code for Unbound. And most conferences. I think most conferences are business casual.
Yeah.
I've worn a suit. Have you worn a suit? We wore a suit the first time. You brought a jacket the first time we presented, didn't you?
Yeah. If I'm presenting, I'll typically wear a jacket. Which goes down another tangent that Michael has talked about before, is it's hiding sweat.
Yes, exactly.
But I've noticed tennis shoes in general have become more acceptable. Like if you see some stylish dude on TV, there's a good chance if you watch the NFL, they're all wearing suits now with tennis shoes. That's becoming the style. So that definitely plays into our favor. So.
Yeah, tennis shoes are definitely in style. And I do remember when I went to, and there's comfortable dress shoes. So I've purchased plenty of those that look like dress shoes, but they have a lot of arch support and cushion. They just don't have a lot of mileage on those shoes as well. So they wear out faster. And flip-flops, I would assume, I don't think they're going to kick anybody out for wearing flip-flops. Don't go there wearing flip-flops because I said that. But just wear shoes. Yeah. I guess that's understandable for like San Diego. There were a bunch of flip flops. I wore flip flops outside of the conference. I typically wear flip flops everywhere I go. Bluebeam cosplay. I guess you could dress up as cosplay, but remember business casual. My Just shoes are well broken in. Yes. I'll let you continue, Matt. My nose is starting to drain now. So 1 second, I got to blow my nose, everybody.
Another plan is in conferences, if they have an app, and I'm not sure, I'll wait till Michael comes back on. If Bluebeam Unbound has an app, download that early and plan your week. Does Unbound, it's Unbound, right?
Yeah, Unbound. Yep.
Does it have an app like that?
I believe they have an app. So I saw an email out saying download the app. So there is an app. I know Doug, if I remember correctly, Doug, you said that at one point. Doesn't look like there's an app location on this one. Let's see. New tab. There was an app link sent out in an email recently. Yep, here it is. Available. Yep, so there's a mobile app. So you can just type in whatever browser you have for your phone and then scroll down on the main page and you'll find like the app page. So you can go through and download the app. So there is an app for this conference as well.
And will that allow you to plan your schedule? Like pick classes and like put it to a schedule, like a calendar?
I don't know. I would assume so. It probably shows your schedule and stuff like that, and like where a map. Yeah.
Right. Like an Expo map
Unbound
is
app.
great.
Yeah. Expo map is 100% great. You want to know where to go. I think that's one of the unsung heroes when you're out there. You want to make sure that you know where everything's at.
Yep.
Apple Play Store, wherever, yeah, Apple sorting out the calendar. Yep. And map. Yep, exactly. Cool. Now, the other thing is making sure that you know where your classes are before. So another great thing is knowing where to go for all of those, and then noting where the keynote session is. So navigation, where you're at, get familiar with the floor plan. We all come from the AEC industry, so we're all well informed of how floor plans work. Look at it, familiarize yourself. I usually get there at any conference a day early so I can kind of see the layout, where I'm at, not rushing around, looking around so you feel more comfortable and understanding that. And then also looking at your dates and times. You don't want to miss or be late to any of your sessions. So making sure you find out where those are before, and you'll find me doing MCR live at the Architecture Theater Hall. So during lunch after the first keynote is when I'll be going through. It'll be at 11:30. No, it's 12 to 1 is MCR live. So you'll be done after the first keynote at 11:15, it looks like. You'll enter the lunch area, which is where everyone is doing their speaking engagements. It's one big hall, one big room. Yeah. And ours is going to be from 12 to 1. So in the architecture hall. So if you go through and look, or architecture theater, I guess is what it's called. There's breakout sessions, theater talks. So you'll just have to look for these theater names. We'll be in the architecture theater. It'll be right next to our booth, where I'll be there, Julie will be there, and you can get some swag as well. All right, so networking, we talked about that ability to go through and get your LinkedIn QR code. So have conversations, right? If you have a different personality type and you may be not so intrigued on conversations and you want someone to be there, have conversations with you, feel free to come up to our booth, have a conversation with me. I'll also be walking around. So feel free to tap me on the shoulder and I can have a conversation with you. And if you want to talk to other folks, just let me know who you want to talk to and we can meet with them and have conversations. Because some folks are introverts. Is that right, Matt?
Absolutely true. Yes. You have to network intentionally, especially for
Yes.
introverts like myself. Um, it, networking is, for introverts especially, it is a very intentional practice. It is not something that I do by default. Extroverts, I can't speak on their behalf, but it seems to come a little bit more natural for extroverts because they're already energized by conversing with others. Something that I did notice, I didn't do myself, but I think is a good practice, and I think something that I'll probably do more often in the future is to wear your brand, like, because I intentionally when I'm not shy per se, but I'm introverted, right? So if I'm going to approach someone at a party and start up a random conversation, if I see they have a shirt on that says like, D5 or something, I could be like, oh, hey, I visited your booth today and I really like this about your product. So it gives you something to go into plan about. And if you're wearing your own brand or your company, it gives others an opportunity to approach you with something more than just like, hey, great party. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It gives you like a starting point. So I would say that's a good thing. Wear your brand.
I agree. Yeah. Brand wearing is very important so people can spot you, understand who is there. So that is definitely important and your badge. Everyone gets a badge when they go to conferences. It's easy to read names that way. Even though I have bad eyesight, so I have to like squint a little bit. So if you're all wondering why I'm squinting and getting a little bit closer to your badge, that's why. But for those folks, true badge and brand, so it's a little bit easier for that conversation. It makes it more approachable, right? I think that's what we were going for.
Right. And there were some parties I would talk to 4 or 5 people in a row, and that were productive, that led to worth following up with, that could be turning into ops. But after 3 to 4, I don't know about you, but I can't remember those people's names, where they worked, and what we talked about. So there were times at the party I would go find a table and kind of debrief, and I would take notes in my phone. I'd put their name down, their company, what we talked about, and what the op was. And then coming back, I would follow up the account exec here at ATG and relay that to them to keep that going. So had I not taken notes, like, I don't know, I probably have a max of maybe 2 things I could walk away with a party that I have tangible action items from. If it gets more than that, I can't remember. So that would be my takeaway too. Stop and take notes for yourself.
Yeah, notes are definitely big. I started doing that last AU because I saw you doing it. My brain pretty much fills up after 10 interactions and I forget.
You can remember 10?
Yeah, it's
That's
around
impressive.
10. And I can compartmentalize them and then come back to them later on and then remember from photos. But around 10 conversations is typically my max of, hey, I remember this conversation where this was at. My brain operates a little bit differently where I typically like to compartmentalize mentally versus handwritten notes. But typically around 10, I need to start writing notes. And that's what I did last time with Matt. And it actually helped even more so. So then I can compartmentalize like keynotes, conversations, and then also what and where roadmaps of products and items as well.
Yep.
Dave said,
right. He's younger than us. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, at some point I won't be able to, I guess is what you're saying.
Each year it's going to come down 1. So by the time you get to me, it'll be down to 2 like me.
Yeah. Soon I'll be at, 2 and give me time. Yes, give me time. But for now, thankfully I can compartmentalize at least 10 conversations. But if I'm out on my phone, I'm typically writing notes. So that's good. I think that's a good one, as well as, again, that networking thing. I think what if you were to like screenshot a LinkedIn or find their LinkedIn QR code and then shoot them a message, right? So even if, I think that goes both ways. If you're having a conversation with somebody and and you decide to use the QR code for LinkedIn, ping a message right there, so then you remember what you're talking about, right? I think that's definitely a good. Yeah. Yep. So my list had QR codes, and then making sure you know where your classes are. So pre-plan, making sure that you know where you're supposed to be. Writing down questions before. So you're all going to be on a flight. Notes, I know for the iPhone, do not require internet connection. So think of questions. Think of what you're trying to gain out of most from Unbound. I will let a keynote talking about that there is a Bluebeam certified professional exam that goes on. When you were registering for Unbound, you were able to select the time if you wanted to take it. So this is a paid for exam, by the way, that you can pay for, and you get a certificate of completion. But if you haven't taken it yet, they are offering it free to attendees. So feel free to register for the Bluebeam certified professional exam. This is, again, free, included in your event pass. So please take it. Take that opportunity to get a certification.
If you are a regular user of Bluebeam, that exam is not extremely difficult. Like, I took it, I didn't study for it. I don't know near as much as Michael, but it was a pretty easy pass. Like,
okay.
If you're familiar with the UI, you've used it, you understand sessions, projects, like, it's not that difficult.
But let me ask this question. How many MCRs have you attended?
Ooh, great comment. If you sit in these, even if you multitask sometimes or most times, it's great exposure. So that's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just seeing and listening to it on a weekly basis helps a lot, for sure.
Yeah. Because they're going to put terms in there. That's a caveat. Matt listens through osmosis. He joins MCR and multitasks sometimes and isn't picking it up, but hearing it. So there's a lot of terms and things that they're going to mention in the BCP. So just be aware of that. If you don't know what things are actually called in Bluebeam and you call them your own names, you're going to get a little bit tripped up. So yeah.
Yeah. Coming back to your point before that one, and you said know where your classes are and plan to go. I would say that's especially helpful if you're teaching a class. Something Michael and I have done in the past is when we're teaching, we'll go find it. We'll kind of estimate, how long did it take us from our hotel room here? So you can plan on that. And then the day of, add at least 15, 20 minutes. And we like to go into the room and go up to the podium and look out and kind of feel it. You know what I mean? That allows your nerves to come down prior to the day of, because you can have a sense of scale in the space. And so I'd say that's really important, but especially if you're teaching, go up, we had one class that was so large, we had the elevated podium, and that's when we felt like we really made it. But it's a whole different world, go feel that experience before you go live, which is incredibly helpful.
Yeah, I agree with Matt. Matt, when we flew to AU, again, I'm one of those people, Matt knows this, and that's why he always asks me questions. I'm more off the cuff and just figure it as we go. But I will say it tapered my nerves for speaking by being comfortable in this space before getting there, right? Your body's able to adjust, the feel, how it's going to look. So definitely, I think that's actually a huge no. If you are speaking, one of those ways to settle your nerves a little bit is know where you're speaking at if you're able to get in. And then 2 is standing where you will be presenting, right? And seeing that space, get a feel for it, absorb that area, and then you're less nervous because you're not frantically trying to understand that space in your body, trying to acclimate in that area. So again, highly recommend doing that.
Another tip, if you are speaking, make sure your technology works. At AU specifically, which is what I'm thinking of, but it would translate to Bluebeam Unbound and everything. Plug things in, make sure it works and it projects, we did that the day before, just because nothing will produce a panic more than knowing that your technology is not going to work when you're about to go live.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah, nothing is more nerve-wracking than thinking that your technology won't work. Matt and I typically pack, we store it via web presentation. We also store it local on both of our desktops and USB drives. Matt told me the other day that he brings like 4 or 5 USB drives, right?
I do. And I pack them in different places too.
Yes. So making sure you have all that. If you're presenting, making sure you have a mouse. No one, me especially, more frantically using your keyboard, your laptop mouse pad is probably not the best trackpad ever. So
Yeah, Doug, second set battery is good. Yep, make sure your mouse is fully charged. Mine is wired, but yes. Yeah, backup your backup your backup.
yep, always have backups. You just want to make sure you cover all those bases. So if you are speaking, definitely recommend that. Check power supply twice, because I've almost left without a power supply. That would be probably one of the worst things to do, is be somewhere and not have a power supply. And yes, a PowerPoint clicker, that is definitely big. If you are doing a recorded session and all PowerPoint, make sure you bring a clicker. If you're not going to be utilizing your actual laptop to demo live a product. And we're not here to talk about what you should do for speaking specifically, but there are some tips and stuff of like pre-recorded content, how you could do that. And maybe at some point we dig into that, but not now. The other
That's
thing,
a good note from John here. Just, yeah, his company policy wouldn't let him in via the network. So yeah, it's good to know that the day before, so you can, figure out an alternative plan.
could you imagine if you can't log in and you're like about to present and you're like, oh, well,
Well, that's what we were talking about because we've presented on ACC before, which is completely in the cloud, and it's like, what if the internet's not good? So you
yeah.
have to think through these things. Like, the internet's important if you're going to talk about ACC because it's the only place it exists.
Yep, getting connected to the Wi-Fi, logging in. Does your SSO work on third-party Wi-Fi providers, right? There's a lot of things that build up into that, and having that conversation and understanding how that's going to work before, have a conversation with your, I do just do it live, David, but have a conversation with your IT team, and maybe pre-record stuff if you can, just in case. I did that, and I don't typically do that, because our fear was internet requirements for using that solution. So just being aware again that if you may be dependent on internet connection for your solution, it may be best to pre-record that content just in case. And that's what I did as well for the first time ever. And actually, I kind of liked it being pre-recorded, in my opinion. Matt showed me that because it's probably one of the best tips ever. Pre-record using some type of solution your demo or conversation if you intend on going live, just in case. Yes, embarrassing photos off your desktop as well for presenters. So make sure you have a clean desktop.
If you're going to pull up ChatGPT, make sure to clear your little side things. So
Yeah, your little side. Yeah.
Make sure you fall asleep at night. Like, it sees all those things. So figure out your cache.
They have projects now, Matt. So in chat, for those folks that use ChatGPT, you can create a project and dump all of your chats that are specific to that in a project. So just be aware if you,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so you can create a project and then it only searches for information part of that project platform too. So you can just dump everything into a specific project.
Oh, cool.
Folks.
Yeah.
For those folks that use ChatGPT. Turn off notifications. Yep, always turn off notification for presenting. What else? So making sure you're up with your vitamins and healthy prior to going. Hand sanitizers is a big thing. Typically, I'll pack one as well. Making sure you have comfy shoes. Packing, make sure you create a packing list. Again, business casual. You're going to want to pack your clothes for the conference and then for dinners after. So for those folks, unless you want to wear your clothes from the conference to the dinners, typically I change. So just be aware with that. And then, like Doug said, leave room in your suitcase for swag. There's a ton of swag at conferences. Would you agree, Matt?
Yes, I was going to make that note right before Doug typed it in. I was just about to say that. Yeah, for sure. You're going to come back with twice as much as you're left with.
You are. We are going to have some special shirts again by request. Everyone asked for our MCR shirts. So we will have MCR shirts. So if you're looking, just make sure you pack one less t-shirt because you can come to our booth and grab an MCR shirt as well. I just need more socks. LOL. Yes. So Bluebeam's notorious for giving out socks. So just be aware there will be some socks given out. Probably. I'm not going to promise because I don't know what they're bringing as well. Other people, there's actual, I don't know how you would say it, but like sometimes we've had like tape measures at our booth, but we're not having those this year. Maybe we will. And we've also had in the past like cups, but what are they called? They're more like acrylic cups, Matt, or like
They're
silicone?
called silly pints, and I think they're essentially rubber.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those were easier
last
to
year
pack.
We also had underwear. It wasn't ours, but it was our partner had underwear that we were handing out at the conference.
Yes. And that's a good segue into LMS. So I don't think there's much more we can mention about conferences. Is there anything else? Let me see from my list.
Arrive early to sessions, especially if you care about it, because sometimes at AU this year, it was first come, first serve. In the past, and I don't know what it is at Unbound, but sometimes you can sign up for it and then it reserves you a spot. But when it was like 5 to 10 minutes before, they open the doors and say, come on in. So even if you had a reserved spot, it may not be there if you get there 5 minutes before. So arrive early, and if you really care about it, I'm a front row guy if I truly care about it. So yeah, arrive early.
Yep, arrive early to your classes. There is a break between your classes, so if you need to go and use the restroom, grab some more water, again, feel free to do that. But if you just need to know where you're at and try to get there a little bit early, especially if you want a good seat, right, sitting in the front, you do register at Unbound for your classes, so you pick your classes. John has one conference after party social events are a thing. Please go. Yep. So definitely there are after stuff. So this year there is one on Tuesday. So for those folks going on Tuesday, there is this one here. And then there is, I think, another one on Wednesday. Is there one on Wednesday? Maybe there's not. Maybe you have a free afternoon on Wednesday as well. But I think there is one on Wednesday. Like Matt said, I should probably start looking through this and download this, which I haven't yet, which is typically my MO, but I probably should get on some of these as well. So yeah, so this one's on Wednesday, Unbound Bash at National Building Museum. So there's two special events, just being aware that will be at the National Building Museum on Wednesday. And then there is the other one up here, which was the first one, Oktoberfest party at the Hub. So there's the Hub, and then make sure you know where those locations are and the times for those.
John put in a good note. He said, conferences, after party, social events are a thing. Please go, and please keep an eye on your professional standards. We like stories the week later, but you don't want to be the story.
Ooh, I like that last part of it. Exactly.
Yeah. Accurate. Very accurate. Yes. Keep
put, John.
Yes. Yeah. If you do like to enjoy a beer or two, which I do, get enough to loosen you up to come out of that introvert zone, but don't keep going to be the story, as you put it, which is a great idea.
Exactly. Well put. So there are two events for additional networking. Again, if you haven't met me in person, feel free to say hi. So I must be in the front row. Yes, everyone must be in the front row. There's also bug meetups, it looks like, speaker meet and greets, champion meet and greets. So again, if you are part of those, make sure you register, you join them, be present, right? If you're going, and if you want to have a conversation with somebody, just find me at our booth as well. Again, ours will be near the Architecture Hall, so feel free to reach out to us. I don't have a booth number yet, but I'll be sending that out on our MCR chat in LinkedIn so that you can all find us. But it's near the Architecture Theater talk, so we'll be right over there. You can find us. So right near this one right here, the Architecture Theater is where we'll be. Let's see if I can go to the, Can I get a map? I guess not. They should just have a map somewhere, but that's fine. Here's the map. Just someone tell me a map. Okay, we'll keep going. It's on the app. Yeah, I don't have my phone up, so I won't be able to bring it up. You can find it one through Hilton. Okay. Do we have time? So Hilton, it's DC, right? I think it's this one. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Where can I find the map? I'll leave the chat up, Doug, because I'm assuming you already went there. It's going to look different. I wish I had the actual layout. Maybe it's in about. All right, that's fine. I don't want to go too far into this wormhole. Okay, so what else? Let's go through and look. Yep, make sure you have a game plan, know everything that you're planning out. If you're going with a group, share phone numbers, have conversations so you know where you're at, and make sure that you are aware where everyone will be. Let's see. Oh,
something Michael and I do is we share locations. So you in your phone, you can share location and you can do it for the day or the weekend or whatever. But that's kind of a nice because like a lot of times you don't answer your phone because you don't want to be rude because you're networking, you're talking to someone. You don't want to be that guy and be like, sorry. So that way you can find each other, without having to officially correspond with them too.
Yeah. Yeah. Matt and I share locations, so it's a little bit easier. If we're in a conversation and not whatnot, you can find that person. So this map is just a little bit hard, so can't read it. Oh, you got the HTML. Let me see. Yeah, it wasn't the best image. Perfect. So here,
that's nice.
Yeah. Which one is it? It's one of these two. Just be aware we're near the Architecture Theater. I'll get you all booth number. You can check out LinkedIn. I'll post it there as well. So no worries. Not your fault, Doug. But I forget. I need to get the layout. I should have screenshotted it and then sent it out. That's my fault. Okay. Now, with that, you are going to be learning a lot of stuff. So, again, notes, and we'll roll into what you can do after. Hopefully, there are more vendors in 2022. We'll be there. So, if you do have questions, feel free to find us at our booth. Doug was saying from like a vendor perspective. Jolie will be there as well. So, feel free to come by and say hi and grab shirts. So, if you are looking for one of the well known MCR shirts, we'll have them there too. Talking about learning or CMS solutions, let's talk about something that we offer here at ATG. And we offer a LMS solution that goes well above beyond what we have from just the basis of software that we use on a regular basis in the AEC space, right? So Matt, let's talk a little bit about this. What are some of the use cases for what we have here and who we've partnered with Global E-Training?
I've used it personally. Our customers use it as well. I took that Excel Essentials, and for me that was a lot. So I know we have power users on here, like Doug has shared some stuff. But if you were to go through those, you could easily become an expert.
Really?
Yeah, I just did the Essentials and I was blown away. Those are good Excel courses for sure. Global E-Training has recently partnered with Autodesk. So that's super exciting because they will have all the latest and greatest things. Autodesk is, pushing out some exciting updates to a lot of their platforms, and Global E-Training specifically will be on the forefront of all those updates. So that's a cool thing as well. Trying to think if we're going into sales mode here.
No, no. I just
We're
wanted
not
to
gonna-
bring this up, right? So being
Yeah.
aware of using a solution as your LMS. So I just wanted to talk about this a little bit because we're going and we're going to be learning a lot of information. We have our YouTube channel, but there's also training that you can do from a perspective of not just the AEC space. And I wanted to bring this up to everybody as well and show some depth. Matt used this for Excel, and there is a ton of other content as well that are pertaining to things outside of this. So just being aware of on the horizon when you're looking at this for engagement, for training your folks. We use this here internally. Matt actually prepared a test and exam for people that apply for positions here at ATG. So again, things that you can do, we're just scratching the surface. We're definitely going to dig into this more, but I wanted to bring this up just because we're going to be learning. How do we be attentive? How do we use some of the information that we are going to learn? And can we build that for our own internal folks as well, right? So if you're attending a class, think of this while you're there, understanding what they're teaching, what you take from it, and how can you bring that information back, right? Conferences are not only just about networking, understanding what's coming on the horizon from a product solution perspective, but it's also re-engaging and pushing that information back to our teams, right? And what's a great way to deliver that information at mass? Typically, it's a live session, and those are great from a conversation perspective, showing information. But how can we have people do it that aren't taking a full hour out of their day when you can't coordinate schedules, right? For MCR, it's happening Tuesday. Sometimes, unfortunately, I didn't know that your emails were stopping for the topic. You may not know the topic, but again, as always, if you join, you can ask me any questions about Bluebeam, and we'll go right back into Bluebeam if the topic's not specific on Bluebeam that day. But basically, again, how can we give people access to content and onboarding workflows and teaching conversations that way? This is a great platform for that. So when you're there and you're attending, we will bring this back full circle on what you can do to onboard new folks or level up new folks at your company for things you may be learning at Bluebeam Unbound. And maybe you're not an expert in that solution and you want that training to be uploaded for you and create a platform for that. This is something we can help you with as well. So this isn't, this is a more of an upscale your team as you're going through Unbound. I just wanted you to all be aware while you're there. It's also a great thing when you're listening. How can we pass what we're about to learn onto other folks as well, right? And creating that successful team. I think that's one of the things that I had to learn from a leadership position was you don't have to be the star. Is that right, Matt?
Absolutely. The longer I'm in a director role, the less and less I know about technology, and the more we lean on others to be those experts. But I am going to get into Global E-Training to try to upskill myself. A funny side note, for those of you who may have heard me say before, one of my pet peeves is when people say BIM model, because it's building information model. I find myself doing the same thing because I often say it's an LMS system, which is literally learning management system. So
Is it? Oh man. Did I
Yeah.
say that way?
Yeah, but I say it all the time too, and I catch myself every time too. It's just those other ones, it just flows. LMS system. Well, that's system. But
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way. But this is something we offer. So if you do have questions around this and kind of that workflow, we'd love to show you. But this is something that I think we are now in the digital age, and there is a ton of information out there. What do you want your teams learning, and what do you want to build around them? Teaching is one of my favorite passions, and the ability to do this in a specific way for your team and build exams around there. I just wanted to show off the fact that Matt is awesome at building exams as well. He just built one for our team and for people that are going to be applying to work here on our team as well. So just be aware. This is out there. Take notes while you're in classes. Reach out to me or other folks in the community if you're looking for assistance on how can we roll this out to the team in mass wide. There is going to be a ton of announcements of new products and workflows in Bluebeam. So as I've said before, Bluebeam is going to be changing the way we use PDFs in something that I never thought of before. So be prepared. Take notes. We will recap what happens and what's released at Unbound when we're back. So next week we are doing the live MCR. It will not be recorded. You will not be able to access it. There won't be a link for you to join. You would have had to attend Unbound. But we will be back the following week. I will be showing Matt, talking Matt through some of the things and any questions and additional things that you didn't know were happening or what was released and maybe you weren't able to attend. I'll be uncovering all of that with you the week right before my sabbatical. And when we come back, I will be back at it again. But with that, what else do you have to add for conferences, questions? I've told you a little bit about what they're releasing, Matt. I believe I called you, which don't get into the weeds because I don't want you to have to worry about what to say or not. But from what I said, one word to describe where the solution is going, what would you say?
AI.
AI.
Everything's going towards AI. And it's proven, if we look at the screen you have up here, there's 3 classes for Copilot, right? Which is another AI platform. So the conference that I was at last week, which is obviously AU, was very AI driven. The world is going there, and I think it's time to acknowledge it, embrace it. And what feeds AI, Michael?
What feeds AI? Us.
Yeah.
Data.
Data. We're going to hear so much about data, and it's great. So I think this is the time to start organizing our data in a granular fashion. So these AI systems that we're feeding ourselves, that Michael said, we are feeding the system, which I don't know, it's an exciting time. So looking at this, I'm going to go review some of those Copilot ones.
Yeah, Copilot, I know. I didn't even know Copilot was in here. So great stuff. We'll be doing some more AI research as this evolves, and be aware, right? Technology is changing at a more rapid pace. I remember at the beginning of my career here, we had the time lapse of every 10 years of an adoption cycle. That has definitely trimmed down more so than half. So we are rapidly changing at a quick pace. How do we learn? How do we engage? And most importantly, especially with the area we're going into, how do we equip the data behind what we do and the information that's provided in all sources from end to end of your design process, and of course the building process as well? How do we equip that data to be more worked into what we do? Because where we're going and software changing at such a rapid pace, it's all going to depend on you as you're going through and using the solutions and the data that you put into them. So with that, we will wrap it up for today. Thank you, Matt, for joining me. You will be back, and I will be sharing with you everything we learned from Unbound on the last MCR for October, which will be October. What day is that? Is it the 7th? Yeah. It'll be the 7th.
Yep.
October so we'll 7th. Be out there, and then I'll be on sabbatical, and MCR will be back November 11th. So for that, catch the updates on October 7th. That's what we'll be talking about there. So if you weren't able to attend Unbound, feel free to join that one. But again, thank you, Matt. Any follow-up or closing out words?
No, I'm looking forward to 2 weeks to hear all about Unbound.
Yes, I will be calling Matt while I'm there to talk about all things, just like I did for the other one. But truly appreciate every single one of you for joining us today, and we will see you all when we come back for Unbound on October 7th. And if you're going to Unbound, can't wait to see you all in person. And until next time, we'll see you all on the next episode. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of the other content on our channel.